Hello there, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be using this lovely paper. It's a 6x6 paper and it's called Christmas Tags and More, and it's from Stampin Up. If you saw my video last week, you will have seen me making Christmas cards with the other half of this paper. It's got these tags and it's got some pre-cut apart die cut pieces, and it was these baubles that set me off on something on this particular layout, because I think that they're meant to be cut aparts that you can use for the front of cards, but I'm going to use them one each side of this layout. It's about decorating the Christmas tree, and I'm going to use some of these tags. You could use these as tags for Christmas presents, or you could use them as fronts for cards. You could use them as embellishments around your layout. I'm going to use them across the bottom. As you can see, I haven't stuck my background down, although I have gutted my card base. This is because the baubles need to hang off of something at the top. So I've cut very thin strips, about 1/4 of an inch, from another one of the cut apart pages, and I'm going to use them across the top. Because they're 6 inches long, I'm going to need to cut 1/2 inch off, and I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to cut it from. I did fussy cut these so that they were going to match up really well at all of the joins, so in the middle of the pages and also in between the two pages. Now, these pieces that are going across the bottom, I've worked out an order to put them in, and this is the order that I'll put on my PDF, because this is going to be part of a scrapbooking workshop available as a PDF. The spotty ones, I could have used one either side of it. With the holly, again, I could have used one either side, but I decided that actually the spots I like, and the holly I'm going to turn one the other way up. And there's a Christmas tree, which is what the layout's all about, and some candy canes and baubles. And this is where my journaling is going to go on a little card. Now across here, I'm going to have a strip of, we'll come to it later, it's going to be ribbon. I'm going to use these two little baubles to cover up the joins at the top. Now on my layout, on my sketch, you'll see that there are two photos, one portrait, and there's space beside this one to put another one, or to put, in this case, the tree from the pop-out pieces. That's what's going to go there in my sketch. But I only have two landscape photos, and I think I might want to have a thinner strip here because I don't think I've got any ribbon that's that wide. What I'm using at the moment is the other side of the basic beige. I'm going to cut this cross-hatched one down to the same size as the spotty one. You could just trim a little bit off of all of the edges, maybe off of the candy canes, maybe off the holly, but I'm just going to cut the whole of the 1/4 of an inch or so that I need to lose off of the cross-hatched pattern. But I think before I do that, I'm just going to swap a few things around here, because this is all about trimming the tree, and the tree's going to be over here, whereas all my decorations are going to be spread out on the left-hand side. So I don't really want the baubles underneath that, and I'm going to move, having moved the tree across to the left, I'm going to move the baubles across to the right, which does slightly leave me. I've got candy canes on either side of the stockings, and that's okay. But I do wonder whether swapping a couple of the other pieces around might work better. So I'm just lining everything up so that I can get it, just checking that I can make it so that the photos are kind of symmetrical over the top of the tags. And then I'm going to see if I can swap the spots and the cross-hatched round, because then I'll have spots at each end. But actually I'm not sure I like the cross-hatch next to the candy canes and next to the holly. All the lines are in the wrong direction. So I'm going to put it back at the end. I'm not that bothered about the spots being next to the holly on both sides. Now at the top, where the title would be, I'm going to put baubles, because my title's actually going to go in with my journaling. So I've got one big bauble on each side, and then I'm going to put a few little baubles as well, because these little ones will just fill in the gaps. and I think that'll look really good. So let's move on to this strip across the middle. I said I was going to dive into my ribbon stash, and this was the ribbon I was thinking of. I couldn't remember what size it was. As it turns out, it's only 1/8 of an inch wide, so it's a little bit small for this layout. It's beautiful red colour. I think it's closest probably to the Cherry Cobbler, if you're familiar with the Stampin' Up colours. So the same colour as on the back of the baubles. And it's got gold up both sides, but it's a little bit small. I think maybe this 1/2 inch ribbon that I've found would be better. It's sparkly and red, it hasn't got any gold in it, but I do think that goes rather well. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. So let's take this thin ribbon out. Be excellent for cards or putting on tags and things, but this ribbon is much better if I want it to go right the way across my page, which obviously I do. So let's see what it looks like on both sides. Yes, I like that. Yeah, so I'm going to stick everything down and come back when I'm doing drawing at the top. So here I've stuck all the pieces down, and I'm just going to draw around these baubles to get them in the right position. See, I've got one bigger bauble here and one bigger bauble here, with enough space for 2 small baubles there and 1 over here, and then 2 over here and 1 over here. Okay, so let's just get the rough outline down. Now you might think this is too much the same colour and I'm not going to be able to see what I'm looking at. I shall show you. You can just about see the outline. There's a shiny line. So yes, I'm going to have to work hard to see where the edges are, but I can do it. So I'm going to do the same with this one. Okay. And then I'm going to move this over slightly. Do this little pointy one here. And then over on the other side of this round one, I'm going to do a round one down here, and then a pointed one up here. There's one there, and then there are my 2 edges. I'm going to line up my pointed one in the middle. Normally about this point I would be looking at all the embellishments with you and putting them all together as embellishment clusters. But in a way, this is my embellishment. So this time I'm going to do it this way around. This one over here. And then a little. Okay. And the little pointy one up here. I'm going to make sure that I do it in a very different colour to the lower pointy one. And then a round one over here. And then I shall disappear off camera again and come back when I've coloured them. There we go. So I'm back, having used a few colours, a few pencils, to create my baubles across the top. So if I hold it that way, you can see what colours I've used. And then if I move it this way, you can see that because I've burnished across the baubles, they look shiny and metallic. And this ribbon, am I going to be able to catch the light with it? Maybe slightly, I don't know. But yes, I'm quite pleased with the way that this has come out. And although you can see where the ribbon is underneath at the moment, once I've put my photograph on the top, I won't be able to see that at all. Here's the other side. Again, you can have a look at the colours that I've used and how shiny it looks because I burnished it. And I'm really pleased with the way that this came out. This across the top. Really pleased with that. And my journaling will go down here. And this will look like that when it's in my postbound album. And this is one layout of 4 that will be available as a PDF for you to work through if you want to make the same as I've made. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye!